fuels them. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life, a moment not of our choosing, but of our becoming. It is the moment when the invisible hand of destiny taps you on the shoulder and whispers one word. Now. Divine timing overrides human planning. This truth is as constant as the rising sun, though often ignored in our race to control outcomes. We are taught to make schedules, set deadlines, organize our lives down to the minute. And while there is value in preparation and discipline fuels them, one of life's greatest revelations comes when we realize that no matter how carefully we orchestrate our plans, there is a timing greater than our own, a divine timing that cannot be rushed, delayed, or manipulated. Many people lie frustrated not because they lack ability or vision, but because they insist on forcing outcomes outside of their appointed time. They plant seeds and demand an immediate harvest. They knock on doors that are not yet meant to open. And when results do not come as expected, they question their purpose, their worth, even their faith. What they fail to understand is that there are seasons to life, and each one serves a distinct purpose. Just as a farmer cannot reap in winter what was planted in spring, you cannot force destiny to unfold before its time. When you attempt to override divine timing with your own impatience, you don't accelerate success. You sabotage it. There is a rhythm to the universe, a flow that aligns with purpose, growth, and readiness. When God says you now, it is not merely a moment of change. It is the arital moment. It is the precise intersection of your inner growth, your external opportunity, and your spiritual preparedness. You may feel ready before this moment arrives, but often that feeling is based on emotion, not maturity. Divine timing does not consult your feelings. It responds only to truth. Truth about who you are, where you are, and whether you are truly capable of stewarding what you are asking for. Sometimes fuels them. The delay you perceive is not a denial, but a divine pause, a holding pattern while deeper foundations are being laid. It is during these periods of waiting that your character is forged. Patience, resilience, humility. These are not just virtues. They are prerequisites for elevation. Without them, any blessing that comes too soon can become a burden. That's why divine timing often contradicts human logic. You may feel overlooked while others move ahead, but what you don't see is that your season is being refined to match the magnitude of your calling. And when the moment finally arrives, when God says you now, the shift is unmistakable. Doors that remain closed for years suddenly open with ease. Relationships align. Opportunities appear where there was once only silence. What once required struggle now unfolds with grace. It is not coincidence. It is not luck. It is the power of timing that is not of this world. If you're in a waiting season, do not despair. Do not measure your worth by your position on the timeline of others. Your moment is not late. It is appointed. And when it comes, no force can stop it. What you must do now is continue preparing as if the moment is already on its way, because it is. Divine timing will always supersede human planning. Learn to recognize it, respect it, and trust it. When you do, you'll find peace in the delay, strength in the silence, and purpose in the process. Because when the time is right, when God says you now, everything will change, and it will happen faster and more powerfully than all your best laid plans ever could. Faith must precede action. This is a principle so vital, so deeply embedded in the laws of success and transformation, that without it, action becomes hollow, directionless, and often futile. The most powerful achievements in life are not born from skill alone, nor from mere effort. They originate in belief. Belief that the unseen can become seen, that what is hoped for can become reality, and that what is spoken in conviction can manifest through persistence. Too many people wait for perfect conditions before they move. They wait until the path is lit, the funds are guaranteed, the support is visible, and the results are certain. But those who understand the deeper laws of achievement know this. You do not wait for certainty. You create it through faith. Fuels them. You do not wait to see the entire staircase. You take the first step, believing the next one will appear. Faith is the spark that activates the power within you. It unlocks your subconscious mind, energizes your emotions, and tunes your focus toward possibility. Without faith, your actions are governed by fear and doubt. You become reactive instead of proactive, hesitant instead of bold. You shrink in the face of risk and retreat in the face of resistance. But when faith precedes your action, something extraordinary happens. Your fear loses its grip, your vision sharpens, and your resolve strengthens. Faith is not fantasy. It is not blind optimism. It is not the denial of reality. It is the courage to move forward in spite of what you see. Fuels them based on what you know deep within. It is the evidence of things not seen, the substance of things hoped for. It is the deep inner conviction that your purpose is real, your calling is valid, and your dream is not only possible, it is inevitable. If you will act in accordance with belief, consider how every major invention, breakthrough, or movement began. It was never with full clarity or guaranteed success. It began with someone who you believed first, believed in the idea, in the vision, in the mission. That belief propelled them to take the first step and the next, until what once seemed impossible became undeniable. Now, understand this clearly. Faith will always be tested. Circumstances will arise that seem to contradict your vision. You will face moments where everything around you says, "This won't work." But it is in those moments that you must choose to act, not because the evidence supports it, but because your belief demands it. Every act of faith sends a signal to the universe that you are ready to receive, to grow, to lead, to overcome. And the universe, responding to the law of cause and effect, will begin to align people, situations, and resources to your belief. But only after you move. Fuels them. Faith does not lead to action, is just wishful thinking. Hope without movement is a dream deferred. You must pair your belief with motion. You must walk toward the thing you claim to believe in. You must speak as though it is already real. You must invest your time, energy, fuels them, and effort into it. Even when the world tells you it's foolish. Because history is not shaped by those who wait for certainty. It is shaped by those who act in faith. So whatever dream is stirring in you, whatever goal keeps calling you in the quiet hours of the night, stop waiting for everything to make sense. Stop waiting for permission or clarity or a perfect plan. Choose to believe. Choose to act even when it feels risky, even when the evidence is thin. Faith must precede action, and when it does, the world will not remain the same, because you will not remain the same. You will have stepped into the realm where transformation begins, where momentum builds, and where miracles unfold. Preparation determines your readiness, not your desire, not your ambition, and not even your talent, your preparation. You can dream the biggest dreams, speak the most inspiring words, and envision a life of purpose and success, but if you are not prepared when the opportunity arises, you will miss it. Fire that fuels them. Life does not hand its greatest rewards to the most enthusiastic. It gives them to the most prepared. Preparation is the quiet work done in the shadows long before the spotlight appears. It is the discipline of sharpening your skills, cultivating your mindset that fuels them, and strengthening your character when no one is watching. It is the act of becoming capable before you are called. And in the moments when divine timing aligns and the word now is spoken into your life, it is your preparation that determines whether you rise or retreat, that fuels them. Many people pray for elevation, but they haven't prepared for the weight of it. They want influence, but haven't built the emotional endurance to carry it. They want open doors, but haven't studied how to walk through them with wisdom. Opportunity without preparation becomes a burden. It leads to anxiety, fuels them, to overwhelm, to self-sabotage. That's why some people seem to rise quickly and then fall just as fast. Fuels them. The platform outpaces the person because the preparation wasn't deep enough to sustain the pressure. Think of preparation like a foundation. The higher the building you intend to construct, the deeper the foundation must go. If your vision is large, your preparation must be even greater. And that fuels them, and that preparation is often invisible. No one applauds you for waking up early to study. No one cheers you on when you're refining your habits, battle-tailing your weaknesses, or learning in silence. But all of that work is accumulating. All of it is building an internal structure strong enough to support what's coming. Sometimes the delay in your life is not punishment. It is mercy. It is time being given to you to get ready, because the truth is, when your moment comes, there will be no time to prepare. The preparation must be done already. You must already know who you are. You must already have cultivated discipline. You must already be walking in integrity. The door will open suddenly, and you won't have time to go back and train. You'll have to walk through it with confidence, clarity, and competence. Preparation is what gives you authority. Fire that fuels them. It's what makes people trust you. It's what gives your voice weight. It's what causes you to stand out when others shrink back. While others are relying on charisma, you're standing on competence. While others are scrambling, you are executing because you are prepared. You cannot fake readiness. Life has a way of exposing shortcuts. You might be able to talk your way into a room, the fire that fuels them, but you won't be able to stay there unless you've done the work. True preparation doesn't just teach you how to get somewhere. It teaches you how to remain there, how to grow there, and how to lead others once you arrive. So ask yourself, what are you doing in the hidden seasons? How are you preparing? Are you sharpening your mind, guarding your heart, building your endurance? Are you studying your field, mastering your craft, confronting your weaknesses? Because every bit of effort is a seed planted in the soil of your future. And when the time comes, when God says, now, you will either rise ready or fall behind. Preparation is not glamorous, but it is essential. It determines whether your life expands or contracts when change comes. And make no mistake, change will come. The question is, will you be ready? You have no control over the timing, but you have every bit of control over your preparation. Make it count. Transformation begins with a single decision, not with 100 steps perfectly planned, not with a committee of opinions, and not with the approval of the world. It starts in a quiet moment when a person draws a line in the sand and says, enough. Enough settling. Enough doubting. Enough waiting. That moment, the decision, is the spark that ignites the fire of change. Everything that comes after, the growth, the breakthrough, the success, traces itself back to that one decision. This decision doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't require a grand announcement or dramatic flair. But it must be it must be rooted in conviction so deep that it cannot be shaken by delay, discouragement, or difficulty. Fuels them. It is the moment when you stop entertaining alternatives to your purpose. The moment when you no longer give fear the final word. The moment you say a yes to the version of you that's been waiting to emerge. Most people never change because they never decided to. They wish, they hope, they fantasize, they speak the language of dreams, but live the habits of delay. They think they're waiting for the right opportunity, but what they're really doing is postponing a choice they know they need to make, a decision to start. A decision to stop, a decision to commit, a decision to believe. That decision is the gate. Until it's made, nothing moves. You can read every book, attend every seminar, and write out every plan, the fire that fuels them. But without a decision, there's no transformation, because transformation doesn't respond to knowledge. It responds to commitment, fuels them. It is not attracted to half-hearted effort. It demands a decisive heart. Think of a rocket. All of its energy is spent breaking free from the gravitational pull of Earth in the first few seconds of launch. That's the decision moment. That's the resistance you feel when you try to change your life. But once the rocket breaks free, momentum takes over. It fuels them. You don't have to fight as hard because the shift has already happened. But none of that begins until the initial decision is made. That's why some of the most powerful words you can ever say are I've decided. Because once you truly decide, you cut off retreat. You stop negotiating with your limitations. You stop seeking validation for your next move. You commit. And in that commitment, the universe begins to respond. Resources begin to align. People show up. Strength you didn't know you had begins to rise. But it only starts after the decision. Understand this fuels them. Transformation is not an accident. It is not something that just happens to lucky people. It is the result of intentional choices stacked consistently over time, and those choices are born from a foundational decision to no longer remain the same. That decision may not make the process easier, but it will make it possible. One decision can realign your entire future. One decision can break generational cycles. One decision can take you from obscurity to influence. But it must come from you. No one can decide for you. No one can push you past that point. They can encourage, inspire, even challenge you. But the decision to transform belongs solely to you. So what are you waiting to decide? What have you been postponing, rationalizing, or excusing? If you want change, you must decide. And once you do, fully, finally, fearlessly, you'll begin to experience something remarkable. Transformation won't come all at once, but it will begin. And that beginning is more powerful than perfection. Because once you move with decision, you move with direction. Transformation begins with a single decision. Make it. Fuels them. Miracles follow movement, not hesitation. This is a law as certain as gravity. Doors don't open for those who sit and wait. They open for those who knock. Breakthroughs don't come to the idle, but to the bold. Miracles are not passive rewards. They are divine responses to human action. They are the supernatural meeting the natural, the invisible responding to the visible, the hand of heaven reaching out to touch the hand of someone who moves. Hesitation is a thief. It disguises itself as caution, as wisdom, as being responsible, but more often than not, it's just fear wearing a mask. It fuels them. It keeps people stuck in cycles of inaction, waiting for certainty before making a move. But miracles do not wait for comfort zones. Fuels them. They are attracted to movement. Movement born out of faith, out of obedience, out of a refusal to stay where it's safe and small. Look at every story of transformation in life, in history, in scripture. You'll find that the miracle didn't come before the move. It came after. Fuels them. The sea didn't part until they walked toward it. The walls didn't fall until they marched around them. The healing didn't happen until they reached out. In each case, it was the movement that activated the miraculous. Waiting may feel safer, but it is movement that brings results, that fuels them. Movement doesn't mean recklessness. It doesn't mean jumping blindly without thought. It means being willing to step forward when you feel the nudge, even if you don't see the full picture. It's walking by faith, not by sight. It's taking the first step in the dark, trusting that light will meet you there. Fuels them, and often it's in that very first step that everything begins to change, not because you had it all figured out, but because you moved. Some people sit their whole lives waiting for a sign, not realizing that their movement is the sign. God is not waiting for you to feel ready. He's waiting for you to move. Because movement says, I trust you. Movement says, I believe there's more. Movement says, I may not have it all, but I'm bringing what I do have. And heaven responds to that. Power responds to that. The most beautiful thing about movement is that it doesn't have to be massive to be meaningful. A small act of courage, a conversation started, a decision made, a door knocked on, can set off a chain reaction of miracles. What matters most is not the size of your step, but the sincerity behind it. The commitment, the willingness to go even when the path ahead is uncertain. Hesitation, on the other hand, breeds stagnation. The longer you wait, the heavier your feet feel. Fuels them. The more you doubt, the more you talk yourself out of it, And eventually, you begin to believe the lie that it's too late, or that you missed your moment. But the truth is, the moment is waiting on you. It's not gone. It's just waiting for your movement to catch up. Every dream you've been given, every vision you've seen in your spirit, every desire that won't leave you alone, it's not fantasy. It's invitation. But the miracle of fulfillment won't show up until you move toward it. Take the class, start the business, make the call, apply, write, speak, build, whatever your next step is. Take it. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be yours. When you move, even with trembling hands and unsure feet, you signal to universe, to your soul, and to your future, go, I'm ready. And that readiness, demonstrated through movement, is what opens the door for the miraculous. Miracles follow movement, not hesitation. So don't wait another day. Move. When God says, no, it is not a suggestion. It is a divine summons. It is the moment when everything shifts. Not because the conditions are perfect, but because the timing is ordained. But hear this, that moment will not wait for your comfort. It will not pause for your approval. It calls for your response. Not later. Now, you've been prepared for this. The delays were never denial. They were preparation. The silence wasn't absence. It was training. The waiting wasn't wasted. It was refining your readiness. And now the signal has come. The time is here. What you do in this moment will echo far beyond this day. No more hesitation. No more excuses. No more shrinking in fear while your purpose waits. You are not too late, and you are not too small. You are exactly where you need to be, if you choose to move. So decide, act, obey, believe, prepare, move, because when God says, now, everything changes, but only for those who answer. Be one of them.